Hey, happy Friday, 9:42. Welcome back into Queen City News. Now, the back-to-school transition, it can be stressful for both parents and teenagers. And one of those stressors is actually technology. Digital strategist Roshanda Pratt, and a friend of ours, has details on exactly how to use technology for a successful year. Always a pleasure to have you on, Roshanda.
Always a pleasure to be here. You know, we have looked at this little item here, a cell phone, as being problematic. But, you know, if it's done right, it actually can be a blessing and not a curse.
Okay, I'm going to hold out. I want to hear how this can actually be a blessing. So understanding the why behind your teens' increased phone use.
Yes.
We know that their usage has gone up over the summer because they're bored and there's nothing to do, so they've been on it. But are they about to be on it even more, you think, with school going back?
Yes. As school is coming back into session, they're going to be on their cell phone even more. And so we have to understand why. For some kids, the reason why they're on their phone more is because they're reconnecting to their friends. For them, being on their phone helps to reduce the anxiety and the stress of returning back to school. So understand the why of the behavior.
Okay, which means you got to ask. I mean, you can't just assume. You actually have to talk to your teens. And I notice it, like, they don't even text each other.
Right.
It's usually through Snap or 100 other of these social media apps. I mean, that's actually how they communicate, even if they're sitting next to each other.
For sure. I often find it so amazing that when my daughter rather, goes to hang out with her friends, they're all in Panera or at a restaurant together, but everybody is still on their phone. I said, you guys, you can put the phone down and talk to each other.
What is this face-to-face interaction?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know when the increased technology use, when does it go past the line and get out of hand?
Yes. So according to Psychology Today, we need to pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to their use. Is their overuse preventing them from doing everyday activities like taking a shower and taking part in that human-to-human action? If it is, you may want to ask them to, you know, quell their cell phone use. And as you're asking them to do it, adults, we have to do it as well. We have to model the behavior.
A way you're asking us to model as parents?
Yes,
Roshanda.
I am. I'm asking you to, you know, not do as I say, but not as I do, however that goes. You have to do it as well.
And listen, teens are going to put up a fight when you say, hey, we're going to have a meal. This is going to be a tech-free meal time. There are ways that you can either put out a basket and say, hey, throw all the texts in here or whatever it is, but you kind of have to, like you said, you have to lead by example because it doesn't happen naturally because we're attached to these things.
Exactly. And sometimes if you're like me, I'm not shy to say this as a mom. Sometimes I bribe. Hey, if you put your phone down, we can all enjoy a good dessert.
Okay, I like this, Roshanda. Ask questions in a way that opens lines of communication. I know for my girls, the older they get, you have to be intentional about your communication with them.
Correct. And I've been practicing this, not perfect at it, but we just practiced this last weekend, making sure that you have open-ended questions and it doesn't sound like you're interrogating them like Law and Order. You want to make sure you ask open-ended questions. So I asked my daughter, you know, who are you following? You know, why do you follow them? What about them causes you to follow them? Here's the other thing about that. You can then go check out the person that they're following, but then also ask them, how has you participating on social media really helped your life?
Ooh, that's
Asking
a good
those
one to get them
questions to get some
thinking.
insight.
Because I think they just do it kind of mindlessly, and they're not thinking about, maybe it's taking me down the wrong path, but it could also potentially be helping someone. And that's good to ask them questions about that. And finally, use tech to connect with your teen. I think we see this as a barrier between connecting with our kids, but there's actually a way that you can use this to connect with one another.
For sure. I believe your cell phone can be the key of communication between you and your kids, between you and your teen. They're already on their phone. So look for ways that you can engage with that, whether that's a family group chat, whether it's communicating with them and asking them questions that they may not be comfortable answering face-to-face. How are you feeling about school? They may be more comfortable in texting an emoji or saying that I'm feeling some anxiety or anxious about school on their phone versus communicating with you face-to-face. This thing really can be a lifeline to us and not a hindrance, as we have proposed for so long with our kids' cell phone use.
I want to go quickly, if I can, go back to one of the points you mentioned earlier about knowing when technology has gotten out of hand. I feel like sometimes teens can be secretive with their phones and technology. They close the door, they try to hide it. They don't want to be open about what they're doing on there. I feel like that can be a red flag where maybe it's time to dig in more as a parent or a supervisor or a guardian on, tell me why. What is it that you're hiding?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
We always have open lines of communication in our home. In fact, when our kids got their cell phones, they had to sign a contract. They signed a contract, and we signed a contract as well. Because think about it, when you get your cell phone, Jason, you had to sign a contract with your cell phone provider. I'm the cell phone provider, and you're going to sign my contract. And we both have a commitment, my commitment to you and your commitment to me. And if they don't see I'm keeping up my end of the bargain, they have all means to call me out as well.
I love that. And for most teens are not paying for their cell phones.
Right.
I mean, maybe when they get older and into college, they start paying for them. So, you know, you can always, I know this is tough, parents, you can actually take it away from them.
We've done that too.
It's not easy. It doesn't go over well, but it can actually be done. And just like anything else, you treat technology with respect, and it can respect you back. So, Roshanda, thank you. I know the kids are back in school. I hope they have a wonderful school year. So,
same to your
way
kids.
to go, new school Uber driver right here taking kids to 3 different schools in the morning. Always good to see you, Roshanda.
Same.
It is 9:48 right now, and we